to me. I lost myself and now I thought you were sweet, but I can see now how you're just too much. I tried to handle all that I really could, but now I know that I'm done for good. Breaking through my walls, your cavity. There's so much deep-rooted that I didn't see. Maybe there's something locked inside of me, a lost soul's desire. I can't keep this up. I've lost my goddamn mind. My gut's been spilled 10 times in pages of songs that you don't like. Pages of songs that you don't like. I drowned it all deep inside. My mind is a cage, just like your heart. You captured the feeling of feeling at all. And apathy's my best friend. Breaking through my walls, your cavity. There's so much deep-rooted that I didn't see. Maybe there's something locked inside of me, a lost soul's desire. I can't take much more. I'm losing. I can't afford. I tried to be your friend, but you just stabbed me in the back in the end. And I won't take this soul to my grave no more. Grave no more. Breaking through my walls, your cavity. There's so much deep-rooted that I didn't see. And maybe there is something locked inside of me, a lost soul's desire. Breaking through my walls, your cavity. There's so much deep-rooted that I didn't see. And maybe there is something locked inside of me, a lost soul's desire.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Tornado Tag Podcast, doing a little art, something we haven't done in a while.
Yeah, bonus content.
You're going to see more of this going forward because we're going to be doing some pre-shows. If we're involved in a card and we're there, we're going to do it. We're going to break down the stuff we're going to. So we're going to start this series off tonight with PPW Reloaded, which will be what we said at the beginning here. Maybe we'll pop it up. Pennsylvania. That's this weekend, Brian.
Yes, it is. It is Saturday in Broadheadsville, 137 Erin Lane at the Signature Training Academy. Tickets still on sale.
Yes,
tickets still on sale.
There's some front rows. A lot of opportunities to get some good seats left and come hang out with us. A lot of big names, a lot of banger matches.
Yes, a lot of people who you may know from TV, who you have seen, who are just electric in the ring. Electric in the ring.
Well, let's look at this poster real quick here before we get started. Probably not the best. Well, we won't do that. So
yeah, you can cover me up. That's fine. That's probably for the best.
Yeah, like I said, Broadheadsville, Pennsylvania, Signature Training Academy. If you haven't seen it already, if you have seen it already, but not in a while.
If
you've been there, but you weren't at the last show, boy, it got a makeover.
Yeah, I just think back. It's funny because we're doing a regular podcast, so we're doing Tough Enough stuff. So I posted a picture from Pocono Slam Fest at the beginning of the year of me and Maven from Tough Enough.
Yeah.
One of the first Tough Enough winners. And back then was when, I don't know if they still had the turf down on the floor because I remember Maria Canales-Bennett was there and we were applauding her for being able to run along that turf at full speed in heels.
Yeah.
And now, much better, now there's a ramp, so running might be a little trickier if you're running around the full ring, but there's a ramp. And if you've listened to this podcast, you know I love ramps. I love the old WCW ramp. I love when ECW did it. PPW's got themselves a ramp.
They got a ramp. They got TVs. You can see entrance videos. There's it looks sharp. There's light schemes going around the wall.
Yeah, the production value has
lights. I did not update our lights that I'm just looking at now on the camera.
A little purple and yellow PPW colors here. I meant
to do that.
The production value at that arena, and for the crowd that can't make it that's watching on fight. Say you're halfway across the country. It's also an old colors.
Yeah,
I'm loving this. Yeah. If you're talking about ramps, you should have these colors.
Yeah.
Just the production value has been off the charts. Thankfully, I believe the weather report is calling for a bit of a cooler day.
Thank God.
I know, I think it's about the high is going to be in the high 70s, low 80s, because that building can get hot.
Yeah. It was talked about last show, possibly AC install. Yeah. We'll see how it works out. But like I said, beautiful facility. If you haven't been there, please do so. Awesome food. Always between what they sell at the PPW stand and also the empanadas.
Lisa's empanadas.
Unbelievable. But yeah, we will hopefully see you all there this Saturday. I have a real busy weekend this week. We could have come to the show. Yeah. We won't get into all that because right now we're focusing on PPW. So let's get into our first match here, BP. And that's good. And also, brand new to the backstage commentary team, our backstage interview team. You.
Yeah, last time.
Yeah.
Last month, made my debut. Fun times. Obviously, whenever you're trying something for the first time, there's an element of nerves, but you power through it, and it was a fun time.
Awesome.
It was a fun time. You do have that moment where you're just standing in front of the camera, you're like, I'm Brian Kendrick right now.
Yeah.
My third interview ever.
Big shoes to fill,
It's Brian. Yeah. Is that are you just making fun of how tall Coach is?
Well,
Coach will be back this weekend.
Also, and Mitch.
Yes,
stepping away from that role to do more.
Speedy recovery.
Yeah.
Speedy recovery. Let's lead off with that. One person you will not be seeing this Saturday in Broadheadsville, Pennsylvania.
I hope they fire him.
Is the closer, Joey Martinez. He might be better off if they fire him. And I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to take a stand here. Mitch is rehabbing. Mitch is hopefully going to be okay. I didn't catch all of the pre-show that him and Sean and Coach did. They did the official PPW pregame show on this. I think he said he's in a boot now, not medically cleared. If you watched PPW High Voltage or you watched the fight show, I know we tried to get him. I was actually just helping with the camera crew. We tried to get him backstage, but Dr. Frank was couldn't even get a word in edgewise.
Yeah,
because it was that dire of a situation. Dr. Frank wasn't just there to be inducted in the Hall of Fame. He was He was right there with Mitch or Tom right after the whole thing. But if I know anything about Tom Mitchell, he's going to be back.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
I would not want to be Joey Martinez.
Yes. Tom is the nicest guy you'll ever meet in your life. He's a sweetheart, right? Yes. But he's also a lot of man. He's tall, he's strong, he's in great shape.
6'2", well over 200 pounds.
I don't want that guy.
Phenomenal athlete.
If that switch flips,
we haven't seen that yet.
You know what I mean? I'm sure it was on the football field.
Yeah.
You know, playing strong safety, he said he loved laying the hits on people.
Yeah.
So that switch is there.
Mm-hmm.
If that switch is now flipped, we have a different Tom Mitchell coming, and he's going to be not a happy camper. And
here's the thing:
Martinez is in trouble.
This is a new guy, new to stepping between the ropes. Like you said, more comfortable, hold the microphone in front of a camera, but he was ready to make that move, and he was more than ready, and he showed it. His first night in PPW, I believe, his second or maybe third match ever, and he gets a pin on Joey Martinez. We can say, okay, it's a fluke. It's a fluke. It was a tag match. A lot was going on, so one-on-one. And he does it again.
Yeah.
And he gets a 1, 2, 3, and that was before he made the match.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting because he talking to him backstage, he also said that this is not a thing he's going to take lightly. Obviously, he was a little bit of a punching bag when he was the backstage role, and people would grip him up and throw him around. It was kind of deemed as a joke. But now that he's stepping between those ropes, he has to set a firm boundary that I'm not that kid anymore. Yeah, you know what I mean. And I'm here for gold. I'm here to make a future. I'm here to be the future of PPW. Already
a #1 contender to the tag titles that quickly. Tag titles half held by Joey Martinez. But let's keep that in mind too. So. Thankfully, that's all come to a head soon. Whenever Tom Mitchell's ready, hopefully the sooner the better. But you don't want to rush those things either, especially when you're talking about something that's going to affect your mobility, ankle injuries, and things like that. You don't want to play around with that. But I hope we see Tom back as soon as we're able to do so.
Yeah. Well, speaking of people making the names here, PPW and trying to establish themselves in a very, very stacked tag team division, we have Dio Brando and Trey Hart taking on the heart of PPW's tag team division, the most decorated.
Trey Heat.
Trey Heat?
Yeah.
Trey Heat. I'm sorry, my bad. Trey Heat, taking on the most prestigious PPW tag team.
Timeout! Breaking news. The word is just coming in. Apparently, we have an inside source who says the air conditioners are ready.
Yes,
the air conditioners are ready to go. So even though it won't be quite it's still going to get hot in that building. If it's 80 degrees outside, it's probably going to be a good 90 plus inside. So if those air conditioners are pumping, we're hoping they are. We're hoping there's no last-minute failure. You know how sometimes you get that new electronic and
AC is subject to change.
Yes, climate subject to change.
Yes,
in the whole world, doesn't it?
Dio and Trey take on South Philly's finest.
Yes, new blood against the old guard. You have a brand new tag team, fresh to PPW, against the seven-time
what
PPW tag team champion, South Philly's finest. Wow, are they not giving Bando and Heat an easy night to start?
Trial by fire.
Yes,
is usually what they say is the best way to get introduced into the wrestling business.
Honestly, there's no such thing as an easy night in PPW. The talent level is just that high. But wow, I mean, the deep South Philly's finest is the deep end.
Yeah.
Not only are they 7-time tag team champions, it's not like they were all 8 years ago. They're the most recent former PPW tag team champions. Before Championship Material took those titles from them. So this is a team that's still firing on all 8 cylinders, coming off of a win with Alec Oaten over Primal Fear. So it's a test. It is as big of a test as you can really get, besides maybe Championship Material, the reigning tag team champions.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at this card and I'm thinking to myself, like, boy, when I get there and we try to get some content for the show when it comes to interview-wise, I think Dio and Trey are on my list right now. I think they're interviews that I think the PPW fans need to hear and learn more about. You know what I mean? So some names you're going to see in the ring, but maybe you don't know too much about them personally. I'm hoping to change that this weekend.
Totally.
But do you have a pick here? Do you have a favorite?
How do you go against South Philly's finest?
You're right. Nobody likes them and they don't care.
Well, people like them again.
Yeah, people like them again.
They still don't care.
They don't care. Listen, it's hard to pick against the reigning, the most defending.
But then again, if we go back 2 months and it's Tom Mitchell and Johnny Moran against Championship Material. I'm thinking championship material. They're the champs. And then Tom Mitchell catches Joey Martinez napping for that little bit of time.
Absolutely.
And it's a 1-2-3, and that could happen to South Philly just as easily.
Yeah. Every dog has his day, is what they say, right? And everyone has that chance, that puncher's chance.
And you know what else they say? Hungry dogs run faster.
That's absolutely right. All right, well, let's get into our next matchup here. Well, we're going to have another tag team match to talk about here tonight, and that's going to be Nolan Pierce and Trevor Kage versus Tim Theory and Rick Recon.
Rick Recon with a comeback. Hasn't been around in a long time. Tim Theory, a mainstay in PPW. He spoiled Nolan Pierce's debut last month. And Nolan Pierce is out for revenge. And so is Trevor Kage. Him and Theory got crossed up in the Battle Royal to determine the number of times the TV title. That's a match we were both keeping some close eyes on. So both of those two, both Kage and Pierce, really, really, really want to get their hands on Tim Theory, and he's obliging both of them.
Yeah, Theory and Recon, you have the
definite experience advantage.
The experience advantage, definitely, but I think Nolan and Trevor can be definitely names in the PPW audience that can be another emerging tag team, and they have that hunger of their newness to the division. I know Trevor may have, outside the promotion, gotten some gold recently strapped around his waist, so coming in very confident.
Gaining experience.
Yeah.
Every time you see Trevor Kage, you were saying the best version of Trevor Kage.
Yeah, and then I think this. Here's my stake right here. If these two stay together, this is a tag team to keep an eye on in the PPW tag team division.
Which group?
I think Nolan and Trevor.
Okay.
I think if they stay together as a team and maybe ride this out a little bit, it bolsters that tag team division. This can be a team to look out for and can be contenders in maybe a year time.
Yeah, Trevor Kage, mark him down on your cards. He reminds me a lot of where Griffin McCoy was not too long ago.
Yes.
Before Griffin McCoy really started hitting the road and started really building up his experience outside of PPW, and then it paid off with a lot more success within PPW. And unfortunately, Griffin had that sidebar with the injury, but he's back and better than ever, and Trevor Kage seems to be on a similar trajectory.
And they're both young, and I'm not saying this to be disparaging, but when you're young, you still have that young body. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then as you get older, you put some meat on. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know.
When these guys get to that stage where bulking up is not going to be as difficult because your metabolism slows down. You can put those calories in and put some muscle on. You're looking at two guys who can transform themselves in a year or two and be this. And I love how you compared to the Griffin McCoys, because I see with Nolan and Trevor, they can be the next possible Action Andretti's, the next I'm trying to think of other people in the division who are in that similar boat. But like, once again, the names that come through PPW, these are two people who are like sponges.
Yeah.
When they're backstage, they're listening to the Brian Kendricks, they're listening to the Mooses, all these names that come in, they absorb everything they can get. Trevor was, was there with Jay Lethal and stuff. These are great names to always be around, and these kids are sponges. Bright futures for both of them.
Yeah, and when you're Nolan Pierce, you only get one chance. We're saying all this, you only get one chance to have your first match. And he had his last month, and Tim Theory ruined it.
Yeah.
Underhanded tactics to steal the win, and that's going to stick with you. If you're Nolan Pierce, that's going to stick with you, and you better believe he's going to be ready for anything when he steps in that ring on Saturday.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't want to put too much on just them, because their opponents are absolutely no joke with Rick Recon and Tim Theory. So who are you going with here?
I got to go with the experience. I got to go with Recon and Theory.
I think I'm with you there too. I think Recon and Theory. I think everything I said about their bright future, they still have some ways to go.
The future may not be now. The future's coming, but it may not be now.
Because Tim Theory's another one who maybe doesn't have he's still kind of new when it comes to some of the eyes of PPW, and he's kind of been lumped in some.
Yeah, he's very much a veteran, but for PPW.
But now this is his coming out party. Maybe not so much stuff with some of the teammates he's had in the past, because people come and go in this business.
Yeah.
And Tim Theory's a name that's been sticking around at PPW, and Rick Recon's a nice person to team up with for tonight, and he can go out there and show the PPW Nation what it's about.
Absolutely, couldn't say it better.
All right, let's get our next one here. BP. It's going to be the PPW TV Championship 4-way.
Oh, we are quite familiar with this one, aren't we?
Boy,
we have two people who have been logos for the show.
Yeah, two former logos,
one current
logo, and two people I would love to be logos for our show. Huge fans of everyone in this match, even if they're absolute scumbags.
Yeah, even if they're the devil.
They are the devil themselves. I'm still fans.
He's self-proclaimed devil.
Well, Andy Header has his hands full, but he is a fighting champion, and he could have easily said,
yes,
you guys have a triple threat. You guys figure out who's in this, and I'll find out who once you guys get it all sorted. And he goes, no, give me all three. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's reset the table there. Like you're saying, at Home of the Brave last month, one of the big matches was a battle royal to determine the number one contender to Andy Header's TV title.
And we featured Danny Moe.
Danny Moe in a great showing, too.
Yeah, it was
an incredible showing. But unfortunately, Danny Moe came up a little bit short, and we had a little bit of controversy at the end of it. We had Killian McMurphy, Griffin McCoy, and Rembrandt all falling out of the ring at the same time. We're going to put something up here.
No, I just people in the chat just showing that they're there and showing them some love. Griffin McCoy and Killian been having a little bit of a feud of their own.
Yeah. You don't have to tell me. I was trying to interview Griffin McCoy, and Killian McMurphy blindsided him, almost knocked me over. And
it's a dangerous spot back there.
It spilled out all the way back to the interview area. Did not end in the battle royal. The tension stayed high afterward. They're still high now. And it all really centers around Killian McMurphy being that catalyst, being that agent of chaos.
Yes.
Who will come in and disrupt everything. And he's trying to disrupt Griffin McCoy's ascent. And you have Andy Header. Andy Header just became a 2-time TV champion. And he knows the only thing harder than winning that title is keeping it.
Yeah, veteran of the game. Guy's been around 15 years, knows what he's doing, trained at some of the best places, trained by some of the best people, one of them being current ROH champion.
Claudio Castagnoli.
But another veteran of the game here with Killian. Super 8 winner. He's done a lot on the independent scene. He's all over the place. Guy's been around a very long time and not someone you should sleep on. The shooter, if we recall back to PPW before we left the church, during the Rumble, these two came in 1 and 2 and almost went the distance.
Yeah, they're right there in the final 5 or 6, I believe.
Yeah, Killian's not a guy that you want in your title contention because he can steal it on you.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
He'll take it very easily.
He can grind you down, twisting you a pretzel. And Killian is definitely going to be a big contender in this match. This could go any of 4 ways. If you think you're going into this knowing, this one's easy to call, it's impossible.
Well, the reason why it's not easy to call is because you have another one in this match that we're kind of not talking about yet.
Yeah,
and that's Rembrandt, and he is the most unpredictable superstar that we have at PPW. He can interject himself in anything. He's very, very crafty. He's very, very smart. And he will find ways to get the job done. It might not be your favorite, but he doesn't care.
Hey, your favorite's the one usually wins.
Yeah, she's absolutely your favorite. He will get the job done, and not only will he get it done, if he doesn't care what you think about it, he just wants the W in his column, and he wants to walk out with a title.
Master tactician, master of playing the mind games. He's one of the people, and you can't say this about too many people in wrestling anymore, who can beat you before the bell even rings. He can get in your head. And you got to remember, a long time, one of the all-time great, maybe the all-time great Nolan is champion, Rembrandt. And what is the centerpiece of that division? Multi-person matches. 4-way match, no championship advantage for Andy Header, Rembrandt's kind of match.
Yeah. He's been in these deep waters.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. This one can go either way. We hope the title stays here at the podcast.
Oh, yeah. Always.
But anything is possible with these 4 contenders, and that's going to be one to definitely keep your eye out. All right, let's get our next one here up. It's going to be our first of two women's matches here on this card, and both of these women's matches on this card are easily show stealers.
Yeah.
If you don't bring the heat, these women will, and we're going to start off very hot with Adina Steele versus Vita Von Star. We've both seen Vita all over the place. We've seen Adina, who's just happened to be back on the logo there, suplexing some dude on his head. But top contenders here. I think both competed if not recently, Adina did, but I don't know about Vita, but another Super 8 contenders who were out there. That's the best of the best. Super 8.
Adina in the Super 8, actually, she didn't win it, but she lost to the eventual winner, Erica Lee.
Yeah.
And
also a PPW
alumni.
Alumni as well.
It's a welcome return for Adina. She took a little time away, and sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need that change of scenery. Sometimes, especially in her case, where she lost a title, and that's hard to come to terms with, and then wasn't able to win it back.
So recently seeing her work recently as well. A lot of PPW fans might not be aware of. She kind of transformed herself for a while there. She was like a powerhouse, and she's still very, very strong.
Yes.
But she's leaned down, where to the point where her cardio and her quickness is matching her strength now. Where she's even. We said how much she's changed during the pandemic, and she came back and made that title run. But she's transformed herself again, and she's quick. She's nimble. But she keeps that strength.
Can she jump over a candlestick?
I believe she absolutely can. But she, once again, we're getting a completely different version of Adina Steele here at PPW, and she has a tall order in front of her Vita.
Yeah, Adina Steele, all the physical tools that you could ever need to be as successful as any woman in professional wrestling. But this is a big test. Vita Von Starr has been globetrotting. She was a big part of the Ring of Honor women's division before they had their big hiatus at the end of 2021. So it's a question maybe of who wants it more. I mean, that's as cliche as it gets.
Yeah.
But who's going to have that little extra something? Who's going to have that little bit more to push themselves past the breaking point? And can Adina come back with that bang? Or is Vita Von Starr going to say, hey, Tasha Steeles, Danny Moe, we'll talk about Tessa Blanchard, whoever it may be.
Well, the women's division is wide open because Tasha Steele's currently with an injury. So we don't know the future of that title or the future of her injury or when she's coming back. They can always turn around and be like, hey, if you're injured for a time frame,
you got to defend that title,
and you can't defend it. We got to figure things out. So huge implications for both these matches that are going to happen on Saturday of who can be the next one up to get that title. I know Danny Moe's chomping to get it back. Adina would love to have it. Vita's always looking to collect. So it's very, very interesting.
Yeah, it's as competitive as the PPW women's division has ever been, and that is drawing the attention of somebody like Vita Von Starr, who thrives on facing the best, and she may be facing the best in Adina Steele.
Well, let's get our next one. And talking about hard-hitting action and a human being who just physically scares me.
Oh, I know this could be. Yep,
Alec Odin. This guy.
You saying you're not scared of Samuel Adams?
I'm scared of Samuel Adams, but Alec Odin is just Samuel Adams.
Look at him if you're watching a video.
Jesus, just he is a presence. And Samuel Adams, I know last show, not kind of got in Paul's face a little bit on commentary, screamed at him a little bit, has a little bit of a mean streak.
Oh yeah, Samuel Adams has returned to PPW with a chip on his shoulder,
kind of bringing back his old manager,
El Diablo
Rojos, and maybe seeing the side of Samuel Adams we haven't seen in a very long time.
Yeah, that intensity, that killer instinct is there, and that propelled him to a victory over Ricardo Rodriguez, a guy who's wrestled all over the world. He spent a year in Egypt, learning all the styles, learning everything, but it wasn't enough to get past Samuel Adams, a former PPW heavyweight champion, somebody you can never take lightly, somebody who can beat anybody, no matter how big they are, no matter how strong they are. Samuel Adams, his biggest muscle is his brain.
Yes.
And he can use that to his advantage.
Yeah. This is where PPW is like, all right, Sam, came back from he had a pretty devastating injury himself. Yeah. There was points where we didn't know if we were going to see Samuel Adams again.
Yeah.
On the independent scene.
And then he comes back, you're like, I want to see Samuel Adams again the way he's been acting lately.
Yeah, and he came back bigger, better than ever, but he came back with that version of Sam that we weren't big fans of. And PPW said, all right, you're back. You want to make another run at this? You want to show your top dog? Right. Well, we have a guy that we think can be top dog, and we're going to match you up against him and see who comes out on top.
Yeah, that's what this is. This is a match to see who is the real deal, who can be looking at that main event and saying, I think I might be in line for that guy soon.
Yeah, I mean, at any time if you're a former PPW champion, you're always in the contending of, I can come back and take it again. Yeah. But right now, Samuel Adams is in this point where is he a stepping stone for the next generation of an Alec, or is he claiming the spot that he's not done yet? And we'll find that out on Saturday.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get our next one here. Oh, I kind of reshuffled them. But this is where we're going to have some 6-man tag team action with Brando Lee, Chris Slade, and Tarzan Duran versus the always dangerous, always scary Primal Fear.
Yeah, and this one for me, my big question is, you have an established team, Primal Fear, who are a cohesive unit, and you have Brando Lee, Chris Slade, and Tarzan Duran. How can they coexist? How can anyone coexist with Tarzan Duran? He's insane. He's wild. He's feral.
Yeah.
He's a crazy man.
He's absolutely insane.
Does he know how to tag in and out?
I don't know.
Like, does he understand the concept of a tag team match? Will he try to swing from the tag rope no matter how small it is? These are the questions you have to think of. You also have to think, Chris Slade is the reigning No Limits champion. I'm sure Brando Lee and Tarzan Duran would love to be the No Limits champion. They've vied for that title in the past.
And depending on how that four-way goes later on, regardless of the title on the line or not, I would, if Chris Slade's in the building, Rembrandt have yet to cross paths. So keep that in the back of your mind as well. Rembrandt's not going to let that go easy.
There's a lot of bad blood there for sure.
But they are going against the best trios that we have in the independent scene today. And they're a well-oiled machine. They know what they're doing. And not only can you take them out of a tag or in a trios, you can put them all as single stars, and they can be world champions at any promotion they go to. This is a very dangerous team to have in your locker room.
And a team that has something to prove, that's going to come into this match angry, because last month they had South Philly's finest and then a mystery opponent because South Philly's partner couldn't make it. And then Alec Odin shows up, and you can't prepare for that.
Yeah.
Like if you're not expecting Alec Odin, he shows up at your doorstep. You're like, okay, what do I do now?
Mm-hmm.
There's a literal cartoon superhero standing in front of me. What do I do now? And they had a bad night. They took the L, and they're going to be looking to get back into the winning column here. And maybe that cohesion, maybe that teamwork can do it. But you look at that other side, Slade, Brando, and Tarzan, and
they're getting by on talent.
the athleticism.
Yeah.
The athleticism. Every time I see Tarzan Duran, he's doing something new. Chris Slade, the athleticism off the charts. Brando Lee, the athleticism off the charts.
Can they put it together?
That's the
question.
That is the
Because
question.
anytime you put anyone with the 7-time tag team champions, things are going to work out in your favor. You know what I mean? Because two people that are together and that well together, and then you throw a monster in. You have a dream team.
Mm-hmm.
Well, can these three who've never worked together get the job done against a cohesive unit of Primal Fear?
Only time will tell.
The best way to find out is this Saturday. Make sure you grab your tickets. If you're still watching this, the link are below. You can head over to ppwentertainment.com. Order your tickets. There's still available cards if you want to buy some of the cards for season 2, as well as the special edition cards of Dr. Frank, Danny Mo, Axel Andretti, and Facade. Bro Keller as well. Card I almost forgot about. Not forget about Champ.
PPWWrestling.com is the website. Tickets will be available at the door again. 137 Erin Lane, Broadheadsville, Pennsylvania, the heart of the Poconos.
And the best way to get your tickets ahead of time for the next show that we may be talking about here in a little bit is being there the night of. Because if you're there the night of, you get first crack.
Yeah, especially if you want front row.
Yes.
There's a very good chance that if you're not at Reloaded, you're not going to get front row tickets to the anniversary.
You want to be there because I'm telling you, the next show coming up is the banger.
It reminds me of not to diminish Reloaded, but it reminds me of WrestleMania 15 back in 1999. I went to WrestleMania 15. It was hard to get tickets for that show. WWF was at the peak of their popularity. They were as hot as they ever were. Steve Austin is just the hottest thing. Not in wrestling, he's the hottest thing in pop culture at this point. The Rock's not that far behind him. And they did a Sunday Night Heat taping. Yes, Sunday Night Heat had its own taping. That's how popular it was. And it sold out in Philadelphia at the back then the First Union Center, the FU Center, Philadelphia's perfect arena. And they gave you a little voucher when you came in the building that day where you could mail in this voucher to get WrestleMania tickets. And if you didn't do that, you were going through a Buddy Carey Silken if you didn't get those tickets that way. Because they sold out through just those mail-in pre-orders alone. So yeah, if you are on the fence about Reloaded, but you know you want to go to the anniversary show, you want to go to PPW 9, and you know you want to sit close to the action, you should probably come to Reloaded.
You should definitely be there. It's the best way we can say.
We're going to Reloaded anyway. It's going to be
we're giving you that advantage by listening to this show. If you're on the fence, like, oh boy, you want to be there.
Yes.
You want your first dibs.
You also want to be here for this. You want to be there for this match. So.
Absolutely. Well, here we go. This is we're talking about title implications of the future of the company.
Mm-hmm.
Here it is right here. The triple threat match, which, I mean, if you don't have this one circled on your card of possible that this is the one that everyone's going to be drawn to.
Mm-hmm.
This is it. Anytime you put Facade in a ring, obviously it's action packed. Anytime you put Action Andretti, you're getting nothing but action. Now you're going to add the world famous CB to the mix.
This is the proverbial locker room sellout. The people backstage are going to be just as excited as the people.
Oh, everyone's going to be gathered around the monitor. They want to see this one. It's going to be insane. This is the one where the building gets a little hotter because everyone filters.
No, they have air conditioning.
Yeah, but I'm saying everyone's going to be crammed in, filtered in. No one's going to the bathroom. No one's getting up for an empanada or a glass of water. Everyone is locked in because these three are going to tear the roof down. If you're not familiar with world famous CB, PP, let the people know a little bit about this guy.
The world famous CB, Cheeseburger, as he was formerly known. You know who considers CB one of their favorites? Would specifically request to have him brought in the shows.
Nobody important, right?
None less than Jushin Thunder Liger, the greatest junior heavyweight that ever lived.
Absolutely.
Loves world famous CB. Single-handedly said, "Bring him to the Tokyo Dome. I want Cheeseburger."
Yeah.
This is a veteran of many Tokyo Dome shows. This
guy wrestled in the Tokyo Dome.
Yeah,
like crazy.
Several times. He was brought to the Tokyo Dome at the request of Jushin Liger. Jushin Liger.
That's like saying, like, hey, my name's Rey Mysterio, and every time I wrestle in the Garden, please bring an action. That's just you want that on your resume.
Absolutely, and he backs it up in the ring. An incredible trainer as well, a worldwide talent, and he's got his work cut out for him.
Yeah,
we can say all this stuff about CB, a fixture Ring of Honor for decades, all of these accolades. And in my opinion, he's the underdog coming in this match.
Yeah,
that is how good and how hot, how much of that in the hitting their stride, Action Andretti and Facade are. I'm going to give you a few lists of people. This is just a few lists of people. Let's go through them. The first list is a bunch of people on this: Griffin McCoy,
yes,
Sean Maluda, Richard Holiday, Chris Bay, Brian Kendrick. What do those 5 people have in common?
You're also, I think you're missing Rich.
I'm not.
Oh.
What do those 5 people have in common?
All amazing talent.
Yeah. All have lost to Facade since he came back from injury.
Oh, yes.
All 5 of them have lost to Facade since he came back from injury.
Oh, and Facade's not afraid to have a name in the ring as well. He's squared up with guys like Sabu and stuff in this ring.
Yeah. I'm going to give you a list of 3 more people. Rich Swann, Zachary Wentz, Lindsay Dorado. In the last 3 months, those are Action Andretti's 3 opponents. His record is 3-0.
Not a bad day at the office.
Yeah, not a bad 3 days at the office. These are probably, and there's one exception I have my eye on, and we'll talk about them later. These are the 2 hottest wrestlers, the 2 of the 3 hottest wrestlers in PPW. And they're going to go head to head, and you throw in the world famous CB. A guy who literally his office is royalty, is basically a landmark.
Yeah.
A guy who goes to work every day and sits in the same chair that CM Punk sat in at one point, that Austin Aries sat in at one point, and Brian Danielson sat in at one point, and has been really responsible for helping shape. One of the things is really there's an embarrassment of riches in Eastern Pennsylvania when it comes to training, Battlefield Training Academy or Battlefield Pro Wrestling on Alpha Junior and PPW right there in the center of it. We see their people every day, and more we're getting ready to step between those ropes. It's amazing. And the work that CB has done closer to Philadelphia is incredible, especially when another company we won't really talk about right now had to shutter their doors, and that a lot of their students were kind of people without a country, and CB opened their doors to them, and they're tearing it up all over the place, all over the
world famous dojo has been a very
worldwide dojo.
Worldwide dojo. Actually, you know what my little dream booking here is? What if we get a little worldwide, like if they do like a school versus school show at PPW, where we get Battlefield versus Worldwide Dojo?
That would be
a nice little crossover school versus school show, and all that does is help each talent. You know what I mean? That'd be, just put it out there. I think that'd be a good time. Alpha Junior and CB maybe sit down and talk about that.
There has never been a better time to.
Because both their talents are unbelievable.
They are. There's never been a better time to, if you are athletically inclined, get into professional wrestling, because you have it used to just be okay if you want to get a wrestling. There's Monster Factory if you're near Philly. There's Rods if you're near New York. If you're a little north of Philly, Wallace Samoan. Pittsburgh, Ganucci, and those are your options.
Yeah.
It's not like that anymore.
Yeah.
There's so much out there.
All right. Well, let's go to our co-main event. And BP,
Whoa.
Oh.
This is how great this card is. We just talked about Action Andretti, Facade, and CB. And now we have a co-main event on top of that.
Yes.
That is a main event in any independent wrestling show anywhere.
Totally agree.
But wait, there's more.
So I was at Icons over the weekend, and there was a lot of names, a lot of faces. I got to sit with the current PPW Women's Champion in Tasha Steele, and I had to sit between them because next to me was Facade and Danny Moe.
Yeah.
So we had to keep them a little separated. So the whole time, Danny's looking down the table, seeing some autographs, seeing some things going down there, and just keeping an eye on that title. But on the other side of Tasha Steele's, in eye shot, was her opponent that she's going to be squaring up with this weekend.
Danny Moe.
And they got a little action in. They got to square off a little bit. They got to do a little pose down. Hands down, probably top 5 talent of all time in the women's division. In Tessa.
Skill-wise, amazing. How many women have won a major men's, considered predominantly men's?
How many people,
world title?
human beings on this planet, have beat Brian Cage one-on-one?
Probably a couple dozen.
How many women?
One.
How many women held the world championship of Impact Wrestling?
One.
There she is. She is, because she comes from a rich wrestling family.
Oh,
Her dad may have done some cool things in his day.
her grandfather was a famous promoter. The Blanchard family, if you're talking about Texas wrestling, there's the Funks, there's a lot of families, there's the Von Erichs, the Blanchards are right there too.
Yes.
And Tessa has more than earned her spot as far as being one of the all-time great women's talents.
Yeah.
Like you said, winning a men's world title. It's a big deal that China's a legend. Intercontinental champion. Tessa won the big gold.
Yes. Anytime you put any female that's current right now in between those ropes, regardless of where they are, how they're doing, Texas always in the top of their top 5. She's insanely talented. She's strong. And I will say this right now. I know this photo is tough to see, but her arms are as big as my legs.
For someone that had a layoff, for someone like when I saw this match was formally announced, and I'm thinking about it, one of my first thoughts is, well, Tessa is the favorite because it's Tessa Blanchard, and you can put Tessa Blanchard in with anybody, and she's the favorite, and that includes people you see on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You put them one-on-one with Tessa Blanchard, and my money's on Tessa Blanchard.
Yeah.
Danny Moe, I respect Danny Moe so much. Nobody works harder. The improvement has been off the charts, but this is with no disrespect to this champ, Tasha Steele, no disrespect to Adina Steele or anybody else.
This is a huge test.
This is the toughest test Danny Moe has ever encountered, and it's not particularly close.
Well, I will. Let me pick it back on that 1 second. They said, what are the chances Tony Khan looks at Tessa Blanchard? It's there. The opportunity's there. It just comes down to if it goes down. So you said, and we all said, Tessa's one of the top of the world. Also on the top of the world list is Thunder Rosa.
Yeah.
Danny Moe has stepped in between the ropes numerous times on TV and on the independent scene with Thunder Rosa. So she has been in there with some big time players. Danny Moe was on a belt collecting streak of her own, where she was just going around collecting.
Oh no, I know.
In a short amount of time. This is not just huge.
This is going to be a kind of a bold statement. I think if you put Tessa Blanchard and Thunder Rosa in a ring and they wrestle 10 times in a neutral arena,
they probably split.
I think Tessa wins 7 or 8.
Really?
That's not good chance.
I don't. You know what? I would not disagree with it, but I can also see them split. It would be very close.
And the only thing I think Danny Moe has going for her is she is at the top of her game. She might not be the champion anymore in PPW, but she's got plenty of titles elsewhere. Every time you see her, she gets better. I remember back in the church, it was like, yeah, Danny's wrestling now. And it's like, Danny, the work ethic before her show, after her show. And it's her and Facade. They fuel each other. They are each other's support system and coach and personal trainer and driver.
We live an hour and a half away. And we pride ourselves of getting there pretty early and leaving pretty late. They beat us every time.
And they're 4 hours away.
And they're 4 hours away.
Yeah.
they're in there working, they're in there grinding, they're in there getting their, you know, I mean, the Neon Blondes are just, when it comes to work ethic, it's like Kobe, when they always say, like, I would wake up early, go down to the gym, and Kobe's on his 4th workout. That's the Neon Blondes.
Yep.
And it pays off.
And it still might not be enough to beat Tessa Blanchard.
Yeah, it's going to be unbelievable. And you know who wins in this match?
The crowd.
We do. We absolutely win. And this is the match. I'm telling you right now, if you're looking for anything to do this weekend, if we didn't get you on your world's famous CB Action Andretti and Facade, this is your ticket seller here as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not done. We're not done. Because BP, the PPW Heavyweight Championship is on the line between Bro Keller and Brian Johnson with Mr. Ruda.
Yeah, this one's a long time coming. And I got to interview both of these two last month. And one interview was more fun than the other. And even Bro Keller's interview, which is the more fun one, wasn't as fun as you would expect.
No,
Bro Keller
he has a different attitude.
He's usually walking around with a smile on his face, shaking hands, happy to see everybody, whether you're a fan, whether you're helping out backstage or another wrestler. He's a pleasant guy to be around. Bro Keller is a guy, the proverbial guy you want to have a beer with. That's Bro Keller. All energy, all positivity, all
I
excitement.
think you just added something on my bucket list.
Have a beer with Bro Keller?
Yeah, I think that's on my list now. I'm gonna have that.
I don't know if he's drinking a lot. He doesn't look like he adjusts many cards.
He likes the brewery shows.
Okay.
I'm very well. He does like his craft beer.
All right.
We're both big fans of Rusty Ray.
Who isn't? But the thing with Bro Keller is that he was a different guy. And this has been coming to a head for months. We have to go all the way back to February. We have to go back to February when it was too cold. And when the cold was the issue in the Signature Training Academy. PPW Reloaded. Again, same match. Bro Keller against the Mecca Brian Johnson. And Brian Johnson gets the win. Brian Johnson gets handed the title. And then Earl Hebner, of all people, runs out and reverses the decision to disqualification. Bro Keller is still the champion.
Because he's a class act. He would never let a match go down like that.
Okay. Is that why I saw Earl Hebner running into a car afterwards?
Anyway,
But
we won't talk about that.
This has eaten away. This has consumed Brian Johnson since then. Brian Johnson's always been an intense guy. Brian Johnson's always been a very focused guy, a very driven guy. It's gone up to another level now. And it's gotten to a point where
Brian Johnson also in the chat, they said not familiar with them. Have you Brian ROH?
Yes, Brian Johnson is a fixture in Ring of Honor. He's been a fixture in PPW as well.
Yeah.
And someone who, he's one of those guys, if you see he's on the card, go see him.
Yeah.
Because he is intensity personified. This is somebody, he's a powder keg. And he, especially now. And there's been things where we kind of got behind the scenes where he may have been on the phone. We were trying to get an interview with him, and he may have been ordering an attack on Bro Keller. We can't conclusively prove anything, but it sure looks like when Bro Keller was jumped by two guys at his house, getting into his car, Brian Johnson was the guy behind it. When Bro Keller and Facade had a dream match that everybody was waiting for, and it was ruined because two guys ran in and beat up Bro Keller and Facade before Bro Keller and Facade turned the tables on them. Brian Johnson's probably behind it. And then last month, Home of the Brave, Bro Keller finally gets in the ring with Brian Johnson. Tag team match. Brian Johnson and VSK against Bro Keller and Alpha Jr. And Bro Keller, in a very rare thing, Bro Keller's been the PPW Heavyweight Champion for almost a year.
Yeah.
It's been almost a year since he won that tournament. And he had to beat three guys to get there. So Bro Keller, since PPW's come back, hasn't really tasted defeat. Except for last month. Except for Home of the Brave, when Brian Johnson gets the pin. And beats not just Bro Keller, but beats Bro Keller and Alpha Jr. Two people who are very much strangers to the lost column. And Brian Johnson gets the one over both of them.
Yeah.
And that's the momentum that Brian Johnson's coming into this match.
But yeah, what an exciting card. Will we have a new champion going after this week? Who knows? With Mr. Ruda.
Yeah, the X Factor. There you go.
The X Factor.
And Mr. Ruda can't be. He's already cut. And Mr. Ruda's coming to this event mad too. One of his other star clients, Trevor Martinez, banned from the building, suspended If he shows up in the Signature Training Academy, championship material, stripped of the tag team titles.
Yeah.
So if that happens, Mr. Ruda has no champions. But then Brian Johnson wins and Joey Martinez bides his time. Mr. Ruda can be walking around with the tag team titles and the heavyweight title.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure Ruda has his eye on that women's division too to see if he can pick up some clients.
I wouldn't be surprised.
But that is going to be your card for PPW Reloaded. And boy, if that's just reloading the clip, I don't even want to know what happens when they unload it. You know what I mean?
Well, when will we find that out?
Well, we will find that out Saturday, September 10th in Broadheadsville for the anniversary show. And the best way to get your tickets is come early, come to the show, and get your tickets pre-sale after the event is over. And that's the best way to get them. We have no idea what's going to take place in that card. Yeah, we have new champions. Who will go for the women's champions? Will Toss of Steel's be back? And not just that, who's showing up? They always bring some heavy hitters.
Let's just last September for PPW 8. Let's just run through some of the names that were there for that one. Just some of the names. Brian Johnson was there. Mercedes Martinez was there. Rachel Ellering, Moose. That is the night that Bro Keller won the PPW heavyweight title.
Wasn't Bobby Fish there?
Bobby Fish. Kaz XL, formerly Big Kaz.
And Enzo.
Enzo. Ace Austin. Buddy Matthews. Yeah. So PPW, the anniversary show is their Super Bowl, their World Series, whatever you want to call it. That's the big one you don't want to miss.
Yeah. And the best way to do that is get your tickets while you're there this weekend. So Saturday, the Broadheadsville Training Academy. Signature Academy.
137 Erin Lane, Broadheadsville, Pennsylvania.
He's got it nailed down. But yeah, that's the best way to experience it. Well, hopefully we all see you there. If you do, please stop, say hi to us. Say hi to the Tornado Tech Podcast. We love meeting everybody, getting some photos and hanging out. Meet and greet will start earlier than the show. So if you want to come and get your meet and greets done and see the amazing talent of PPW, come early and then hang out for the show. We're excited to see you all.
Fun time, always.
Yeah.
Fun, and one of the biggest stars we didn't talk about is that crowd.
That
crowd always brings it.
I will tell you right now, we're very fortunate enough to work at a lot of really fun promotions, and I have a blast at every single one I go to. And there's nothing like the PPW crowd. They are the gold star every single time.
Yeah.
They tell you who they love, they tell you who they don't like, and their energy is through the roof. And maybe because your champion's all energy,
so is the crowd.
That the crowd follows suit. But A+ for the PPW Nation. They are absolutely unbelievable. And I will say, doing commentary, it is an amazing feeling when everyone's standing up on their feet after a match and giving a round of applause and just screaming their faces off. And it feeds not just us on the commentary row, but it feeds the guys and girls in the back. It feeds you guys in production because you feel it. It's a different energy when you're there.
Yeah.
And that's all because you guys, the fans, are the absolute greatest in the world. And thank you so much for PPW and everyone who tuned in here tonight to hang out with us live for our PPW rundown. We will be doing this more often. So every single time, the Thursday before the show, you can catch us before we go live on the podcast, which is live every single Thursday at 7:30 on Facebook, on Twitch, and also on YouTube and Facebook. You can always hang out with us and talk. Tonight we're talking Tough Enough.
Yeah, we'll be back in a little more than a half hour to talk some Tough Enough.
Yeah, so if you want to hang out, watch some wrestling tonight with us, we're going to be talking Tough Enough. We'll be joined by the TV champion himself, Andy Header, and the rest of our cast here, Austin and Kelly. But we'll see you guys in a little bit. We love you to death. We'll see you this Saturday. PPW Reloaded. See you soon.